Today, the topic is Rolls-Royce don't just sell cars. That's an analogy I've just come up with, all my own work, and what it's brought to my mind because the question I often ask doctors when they're thinking of growing their private practice is, why you? Why should someone choose you? What makes you different from anyone else? And it's a really hard question. I accept that it's a hard question, and everybody struggles with it. I mean, everybody struggles with it because it is not easy and it's not straightforward. But it's a really important question to think about and to put a tangible answer to that patients can understand and hopefully resonate with. Because if you just do what everyone else does, which basically says, I'm an orthopedic surgeon and I fix bones or I replace joints, or I'm a ENT surgeon and I can, sort out your child's grommets or help you with snoring or whatever it is. That's the marketing that most people do. Now, that's the nature of marketing probably means that you will get work because people might see it and think, I'll come to see that person. But you're never really going to get people coming from quite far afield. You're never going to get people seeking you out. You're always going to just be another doctor, and you're not really going to be differentiating yourself from the pack. And we're very lucky as doctors because no one is doing this. So you don't have to do much to differentiate yourself. And the analogy in the title about Rolls-Royce not selling cars is the car analogy. Now, if you're a car manufacturer and if you market yourself by saying cars are really good and cars will get you from A to B really quickly and they've got a roof over their heads so you don't get wet when it rains and it's really good to get a car, you might look at that and think, okay, well, I might get a car. And if it's Rolls-Royce, for instance, advertising that, and if that's how they advertise themselves, you might think, oh, actually, Rolls-Royce sells, showrooms in Essex, and I live in Brighton. There's a Vauxhall showroom in Brighton. I'll get a Vauxhall because that does all those things. That goes from A to B and it's got a roof over its head. But that's not how cars advertise themselves. Rolls-Royce talk about the leather that they use and the smooth ride of the suspension and the status associated with them. They don't really talk anything about the fact that it's a car that gets you from A to B, because lots of other cars do that. And it would be ridiculous to focus the advertising on that, because you're just advertising cars then, and you're just trying to encourage people to buy cars. And most of our advertising as doctors is encouraging people to have the thing that you do. That you're saying, I'm a psychiatrist and I help people with postnatal depression or whatever. You're just saying, this is what I do, this is what can be done, but you're not differentiating yourself from anyone else that does it. And you know that there's a whole load of other people. It doesn't matter how specialised you are, even if you do the right shoulder, there's lots of other people who can do the same thing as what you do. And if you don't try and differentiate yourself, if you don't try and give any clear blue water, why should they come and see you? And you need to be focusing on the clear blue water thing, not the I fix shoulders. And it's really hard, and it's something that we talk about a lot in the mastermind group, and it's something that I think we all are working on, and it is important to continually work on it. It's not an easy fix, but it needs to be things like service, level of service, aftercare, breadth of treatments, not just focusing on the thing, looking at other aspects of the patient's care. Things like that, just like cars will go for sort of luxury, reliability, safety. They go for certain niches. Each car manufacturer will choose a niche and go for that. And it doesn't mean that if you go for instance, providing a holistic care and looking after the whole patient, it doesn't mean that you can't also have good aftercare. Just like a car that goes for reliability still, can still be luxury and economical, but it just means that you have to hang your hat on something. by all means, work on your safety and reliability and the other things. But you need to hang your hat on something, and then you need to start bringing things into your practice to support that. So, if it is the fact that you're looking at holistic care, then you need to look at get other practitioners involved, get other links, get other maybe clinics with them, or whether maybe they get remotely involved. They don't have to be at the clinic, and you need to have offerings, and you need to examine people with that in mind. You need to write your clinic letters with that in mind. You need to write that in every clinic letter, because I offer a service where I look at people as a whole, and I work with podiatrists or dietitians or psychiatrists or psychologists or whatever it is, whatever the holistic nature in your field is, and you need to live and breathe it, and you need to infuse it in all of your marketing, which means your blog posts, your Facebook posts, your emails that you're sending out to people. So the first step is to start producing content and sending out the information about the thing that you do. And then the next step, once you nuance that, is actually not focusing so much on the thing that you do, because a lot of times people sort of know that, knees have arthroscopies and knee replacements. They sort of know that. You don't really have to tell them that much about knee replacements. They sort of get that. But what you need to focus on is the thing that makes you different. So don't so much focus on the thing. Don't so much focus on the car. Don't say, I've got a car. I make cars, and I'm very good at making cars, and I've done a fellowship at car making at in Brazil, and I make cars to a very high standard. That's what everyone says. You need to say, look at the leather that I use in the seats. Look at the what's that cruise control, radar cruise control we've got for safety, and look at the structure of the car, and look at the way we make it, and look at the whatever whatever it may be, the features that are specific to your car, to make them come and see your car, and make them come and seek you out, make them come and find Rolls Royce. I don't want a Vauxhall in Bristol, I'm going to go all the way to Essex to get a Rolls Royce. And then when you start getting into that, when you start getting people, the key is when you start getting people to come into clinics saying, it really resonated with me what your values are, what your ethics are. Think of what your values are. Think of what your practice stands for, what your offering is, because your offering is never just the surgery or the treatments. It's always more than that. People always want more than that. They don't just want knee pain fixed or palpitations fixed. It's always more than that. They want a lifestyle where they can go running, or they can do things with the grandchildren, or they can sleep at night without pain, or they can peace of mind. The cardiology is a classic one for the peace of mind. Live without without worrying about keeling over with a heart attack. So it's all about what you can offer them, not really what you're doing. Don't focus about what you're doing. Focus about what you can offer them. Take a leaf out of car manufacturers. Look at the way that they niche. Look at the way that they talk about their value, their features that will enhance your experience, rather than the core message of this is a car. And as I say, it's very easy, because we're in a world where everyone is just saying this is a car and I make cars. That's what everyone's saying. So if you can get yourself above that, if you can say, I look after people, I treat people as a whole, I don't just look at the individual thing, I continue monitoring people for this amount of period of time after they've had their treatment or whatever. These are the things that are differentiating you, things that other people can't say. If you're writing blog posts, if you're putting things on your website and on the social media that anyone could say, any orthopedic surgeon could say, any cardiologist, any psychiatrist, any ENT surgeon, if they could say the same thing, then, don't get me wrong, it's good to get stuff out there, and I encourage you to get stuff out there, but it's not as good as putting things that are personal for your practice, and then you're starting to think more like building a business, building a brand. This is what brands are built around. They're built around something that differentiates them. You're not just Joe Blogg's supermarket. You're not just Joe Blogg's clothes shop. You're bringing yourself out, that people will start coming to your supermarket, coming to your clothes shop, coming to your hairdresser, coming to your whatever. Whatever walk of life it is, there's always going to be bog standard, restaurants, takeaways. There's always going to be the local one, and they're always going to do all right, the local one, because people want to go down the road. But if you can start building above that, and yes, get local work, but start getting people who are coming from further afield because they've heard about this thing, that this restaurant that's a bit different, this hairdresser that's a bit different, whatever, because they've thought about some brand values, some extra value they can give to their customers, then you can start getting yourself above. Then you can start being Rolls-Royce and start getting a patient group that want to come and see you, not just any other doctor. And that is the key, get them to come and see you, not just any other doctor. Ask yourself, why should they come and see me rather than my colleague who's in the clinic room next door? It's a hard question to answer. It's a brutally basic question, and everyone struggles when you ask them that. So start thinking about it and start making something tangible that you can build on it and offer to patients. That is the game. That is the game. If you want to know more about the game, join me 6:12 next Thursday, where I'll be doing more of this, or check it out on the podcast tomorrow morning, Friday morning. See you then.